What's up, everybody? I'm Frankie Biggz, man. Thank you for stopping by today. We are celebrating RM's 31st birthday. And in doing so, we've put out some videos. Well, this video is actually going back just a scotch, just a little bit. We're going to be listening to his Indigo record. Now, I've already listened to and gave an album review of his previous record, which I believe is
It's not his previous record, it's his record after
it's the record after.
Indigo.
Right, where Indigo is
You just
after
said we
Right
were
Place, Right
going back.
Are you saying this is his most previous record? This is
This
his
is
most current record?
no, his most current record is Right People, Wrong Place, or I
Right,
just
and
got it
I'm s
wrong.
don't okay, what I was trying to say was that I had already reviewed that, I haven't reviewed this one, and
Yeah,
that
but
rec
you said that record was previous to this one that we're about to review.
where am I wrong in here right now?
You're wrong in your words. I don't. You previous means done before.
Right, so I'm this oh, you're right.
You
Oh,
just said we're going back in
fuck.
time. My
Okay, my bad. Funny. Oh, shit.
Oh, right.
It's been a long day, peeps. It's been a long day, and it just started. It's in the morning. This is super early morning.
11:15, guys, just so you know. When we're recording this, it's 11:15.
It's a long day. It's been a long day.
It's gonna be a long day.
That's right. It's already though. We are listening to the Indigo record, and I'm very excited because if you guys know and you know how I feel about RM, I'll say it again. He's just a very innovative dude. And I just dig the way that in his production, he likes to be very organic. What I mean by that is not to say that he doesn't use synthesizers, right? But if he can get away with not using synthesizers and maybe using real instruments, even in his sampling, like it seems as if he likes to sample things and then kind of morph them into what he's his idea. But there's no reverb on it. There's barely any type of effects. It's super raw. I like that kind of production. It kind of reminds me of a group back in the late 80s, early 90s called the Latin Playboys, which was actually just a project that a group called Los Lobos, a couple of those cats got together with some really eclectic artists and they put together this record called the Latin Playboys. Anyways, the reason I like it is because it's very much like that. RM style is very reminiscent to that type of style of production, super organic, even if using samples, using noisy samples and being able to just really incorporate this amazing environment. So I'm really excited to get to this, although I know that this record is before the record I had reviewed. And I know that that record that I reviewed is so inspirational to me because I have even based my up and coming record, Techno God, kind of based on that type of production. But this record, I'm hoping that will kind of follow the same thing. I'm pretty sure that it is. Also, I've already done a review of this live concert for this record. So some of these songs I did hear in the live setting. So now I get to really focus on the studio versions. Okay. So let's get it going. Miss Producer, Miss Irene B. Let's go. What do we got?
All right, we're starting with Yoon
June.
featuring Erica Badu.
Okay, let's go.
Cause true beauty is a true sadness. 그렇게 해보려고 노력을 해야지. 그게 인간의 목적인 것 같아.
Wow. So, first off, I love the entire concept of wanting to find yourself before how am I putting this? like recognizing that you have a talent, recognizing that you can do art, you can do music, you're an artist, but you want to become a human first before you tap into that artistry. And that's what I get out of this track. And the lyrics are just amazing. I really, really dig it. And I love the way that they use before by just saying for, I want to be a human before I do some art, before I do some art. So it's cool, man. He's really tapping into black lingo like that. Not only black lingo, but very old school type. You know what I'm saying? Like real old school type of that kind of urban slang. And I love that. I dig it. It's so creative. And the way that he used it was really, really cool. Erica Badu, I mean, she's got an iconic voice. All I can say is that it works. It really, really works. The track, the drums, I was listening, paying attention a lot. They make the drums sound like it's one sample, but it's not. You can hear the division in the tracks, which I think is cool. And again, super, super innovative. Or a couple times, excuse me, when the side stick would they would cut it. And so you can kind of hear the chops in the sample, the drum sample. Um, Other than that, it was super laid back. The bass was just on point as far as being the pattern that it was playing over and over again. And they didn't really, really go out of their way to make that bass like a super predominant instrument. It sounds like they just took a cheap amp, put a bass in it, put a lead in it, and a microphone in front of it, and just had this guy without really adjusting too much of the amp. They just really caught the essence of like a really room bass. And so that's cool because it just again, it's just making way to be able to hear the dynamics of the song. And I dig that, man. Again, the production, awesome. The way it's mixed. I think the only and I don't call it a complaint. The only thing I think I would have done as a producer and an engineer differently on this song was maybe round out Erica Badu's voice a little bit because it's so very it's it's like right here. I would have added some type of low end presence with her. And I have two minds on this. One, I would have increased the bass and made her presence as just as much presence as RM's voice, or use her voice the way that I think is really clever, which is to do a high pass filter or a low cut, and or use some kind of an isotope um plugin that'll give this 1950s, 1940s, 1950s vinyl feel to it. So it's real tinty. I mean, she's gonna be tinty, exploit the shit out of it. And then use it with some crackles, like to make it actually sound like it was an old record. So I am of two minds when it comes to that idea. Other than that, song is great. Okay, Irene, what do we have next?
Okay. So we're going to RM, obviously, if we're doing Indigo record. Still Live with Anderson .Paak.
And that's the drummer guy, right?
Right. He's
right.
I think he's half Korean actually.
Korean, yes.
I'm still alive. Yo, I never stop, baby. Let's get it now.
Wow. So what do you say about that? First off, let's talk about the video, man. That video was incredible. Very well thought out. I have to say that first off, I dig the concept of the song because it definitely translates well to the idea, the concept of the video. So still life, as I'm getting it, is he's saying I'm still life. Like you can put me, you can frame me in these moments as pictures, but I'm always moving on. You know what I mean? And metaphorically, I dig that. Like, he's a man of many pictures now. You know what I mean? How many pictures does RM have in his life between, the time that he's been born to now? You know what I mean? And there came a point young in his life where the still life, which is kind of crazy because that's more of a fashion statement for models. You know what I mean? Like it was, I don't know, I want to say early 2000s, you would get some of these supermodels that would be like, "I'm still life." You know what I mean? Like, still photo is what it's saying. So, it's it's cool that they used it in that way to reference him and to reference what he's going through in life as being an idol. So, it's just really, really cool, and then the video, all of the different takes like that, and, you know, using some of the distortion that would come of it, you know what I mean? So, in a way, I wanna say this lightly because I don't wanna make it sound crazy. Like, in a way, the effects, the different parts of him and all those type of effects are done if you do them handmade, like, if you actually cut the frames and you do it that way without using some kind of a plugin, then your outline of the person that you're trying to get into these frames becomes very distorted. And it looked like they sloppily used that distortion in that on purpose because it was kind of like they used that distortion on purpose to be able to fit into these next frames. And it was genius how they did that. So as a producer and doing video and producing that type of motion pictures and stuff like that, um that video was very well thought out, and I'm super highly impressed. Song by itself, great. I don't know, was that a Pharrell production by any chance, Irene?
No, I think that was actually Anderson .Paak, but let's see the credits.
I
Oh,
mean, I
no
know that he's a
credits.
producer, writer too, but I thought that though Pharrell and Anderson .Paak actually I might be
No
thinking of
credits
somebody
on
else.
the
They both have
who
a
produced Still Live by
they both have similar styles. You know what I mean?
Ninos Hanna, Emil Schmidt, Adam Cullen, and Ghost Loop.
Ghost Loop I've heard before. Good job, dog.
Let's go for the next one.
All right.
It's called All Day with Tableau.
All right. All day the tablet.
We know we fly all day.
That's great. Oh man. Okay. Well, first off, Irene, that reminds me of you. It reminds me of us, that song.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, it reminds me of us, and I'll say why is because and I know that when you and I first got together, the amount of people who did not want to see that happen and the amount of shit that people put or tried to put in our heads about each other to keep us separated. And in the end, it was like we just like this, we fought and it didn't matter what people said. It seemed cruel. And it was. People were being very cruel to us, but we just kept doing it. We just kept walking. We kept going forward. And like you said, like all day. That's the way it was. And you know our history. We so you guys know you couldn't tear us apart, man. It was not gonna happen. My wife and I just had a different code, man. You know what I mean? Like it was just a different thing. And I think that's where I'm taking out of this song is him basically telling you, you know what? If you're doing something that feels good and you're feeling it, you're vibing it, then just keep doing it because and I've said this to people before. I've used this as an example that if how do I say this? If you show somebody something, right? And they start telling you, man, that's good, but you should have done this, you should have done that. They start to offer, they try to change your creation, you know you've got a hit. Because if it was shit, they wouldn't say shit. You know what I'm saying? So in a way, that's kind of what I'm taking out of this track is kind of that way. Like, you know you're doing something good, you know you're on the right track when people talk shit about you. When people try to change your trajectory, your direction. That's when you know.
Isn't that
And
right for this channel as well?
it is right for this channel. You know what I mean? So you guys know watching. I mean, we've gone through a lot of shit, but it's par for course, Irene, because this is exactly the stuff we've been through before. You know what I mean? So we open the channel, look how much shit we got for it. You know what I'm saying? Look how much how they tried to stop it, and we did the same thing. We just said, "Oh well, we'll go through the gauntlet. We'll go through and take all the rocks, and we'll take." I mean, at the end, it is what it is. I guess sometimes you just intimidate people with who you are. You're not trying to, but it happens. And it can happen to anybody too. I'm not trying to be righteous over here like that. I'm a human being. So, you know, I'm bound to mess up. But in any event, I like this song. That's what I take out of it. I think it's very well done. It's very creative. And the track itself, I dig the fact, yet again, the usage of samples that sound complete, but they don't. They chop it up. The other thing was you can hear a very big string section, but it's way back here. And the reason why was because they did a low pass filter on it, and they did exactly that isotope trick where it just sounds like a record in the background, though. You know what I mean? Like an old record player playing that string part in the background. And even the pans, the way that they use their elements in the pans is just it's great, man. Now that guy too, isn't that the cat that really pushed him into being who he was? And then that dude just he was an artist as well. And then he did pretty well, but then he just kind of like stopped it and just went into like full-time production and writing. That's that cat, right? Didn't I get that out of the guide?
I think
He was an idol at
I
one point, but he
no, I think you're mistaking him with El Capitan. But I
might
think
be.
he was also an idol. I'm not completely sure. I know you did a reaction to his latest record with RM. So there was a collaboration with him not so long ago. It's in the channel. I'll put it in the description. I can't remember the name of the song. To I have really bad memory. But yeah, so they're apparently good friends. So they do stuff together. You know,
They do stuff together. They hang out. You know what I
they
mean?
do songs.
They know each
They
other.
do songs.
They do stuff. You know what I mean? All right.
Anyways, we're going for Forgetful with Kim Sewol. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right.
어제 나를 축구해줘 요나 수많은 가시들 라라라라라라
Very cool. So, what first off, I dig the lyrics. I like the way that they both use well, she talks more about it than he does, but he kinda you see how the lyrical content kinda intertwines. Basically using the park, having to go to the park and loving, you know, to look at the different colors, metaphorically to me, at least in my I process it as them living. Like she's got to go outside of her doors. She's got to go outside of her house and she loves to see life. You know what I mean? Like life is a big park. There's all these different colors and different things going on. And yeah, basically really accepting being in a peaceful space and really kind of without saying the word fighting, but kind of fighting for that peace, that inner peace. Now, So I love it. Very, very, very cool vibe. Definitely vibing to it. The production of this is great, man. I really, really love the live off the floor kind of feel. For those of you who don't know what that means, in the studio, when we say live off the floor, it means that it's everybody is playing at the same time and they're recording it. Some people would say, well, don't you always do it that way? That's not entirely true. Normally, no. Even from pop music to rock and roll, even to folk music. Usually you do it in tracks. You do the guitar first, then you build the bass and the drums. Everybody's isolated, and it's more of a mixing thing too, because then every instrument has its own set of tracks, and there's no other instruments that are bleeding into each other. So to have that isolation is where you end up getting really, really good sound. But sometimes studios, especially very well-built studios like Storkberger Design Studios, like their rooms that they usually do, like a vocal room or something, it's usually a pretty big space. It's not the closet like you normally see now with producers or studios where they put the singer in this tight little closet and the microphone's here. These are big, big rooms, and you can do live vocals anywhere. You don't need to be so secluded. But in this setting, what they do is they set up the people, they set up microphones, and they do a live off the floor. And yes, there's going to be bleeding because the tracks are all being, you know, the microphones are definitely going to pick up other elements in the room. But kind of that's the feel. You know what I'm saying? That goes back to what I was saying is having that organic feel. So that room that they did this in was freaking amazing. I mean, it's probably the tightest room you've probably ever been in. And so those microphones do a really, really good job too, depending on how you aim them towards whatever you're aiming them towards. And this way, there's a guitar and there sounds to be like a cajon. Like it sounds like RM is literally sitting on the cajon. And that's
Cajon. Please say
cajon.
cajon correctly.
Cajon.
Yes.
He's
But
sitting
the
on
other thing means another thing.
he's sitting on a cajon. And that's the box drum. And it sounds like, he's playing the box drums. He's hitting it between his legs. I'm not saying he's hitting his balls. I'm saying he's actually playing the square or the rectangle he's sitting on. And that's what I hear. I just hear that he's got a microphone, she's got a microphone. Uh the cajon is mic'd and the guitar. That's all I've really heard. Did you hear any other instruments in there?
No?
Beside even the whistling was kind of you could hear the and it was completely off tune. So I just really, really, really love the organic sound like that. I really love the fact that as a rap artist, right? This guy is also an amazing producer and he's got a great ear. And I just love the fact that he's such an elemental dude. He loves using elements. You know what I mean? And he's not too glitch hop with it. You know what I mean? He's not trying to put it in your face and do all this weird shit. Doesn't really need to do that more than he just needs to get an idea out. And sometimes doing live off the floor is just the best way to do it. It just catches that essence. And then with this girl, I don't know her, but she seems like a person that would do like a lot of live music. She sings like that. You know what I mean? She sings like she's used to being like maybe even like in a busking situation. So kudos to both. Great song, great song. Yeah, love it. What do we got next, Irene B?
Next is Closer with Paul Blanco and Mahalia.
Yeah. Let's go.
I get a feeling sometimes that I can't get close enough to you.
Black baby, say the time, don't wait for nobody.
Wow. Wow. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. It is so slick how he even used the word fish. And it's cool because if a fish swims away from you, you really can't get it. You know what I mean? And I kind of get where he's talking about a girl that is kind of like, I guess, bringing him in, but then doesn't get too close. And the next thing you know, she's gone. And he's doing all of this effort to try to get her attention. And inside, all he wants to do is just have her just stick around. Like, let me show you who I am. I promise you, you'll like me. And it's kind of that vibe. And but every time, you know, she slips out of his hands. And so it towards the end of the song, it kind of sounds like now he's finally got her, or it seems like on the phone, and he's saying, "You know what? I'm coming to you." Like he finally realizes that he's got her in the spot that he's always wanted. He's got her attention. And now now it's like, I don't care, stay where you're at. Stay where you're at. I'll be right there. I'm coming. Just stay where you're at. Like this, please don't go away like a fish. So I just think it's cool. It's dynamic. It's super dynamic. But you know, I do love it in both settings. I think it's super cool. I think it's just ultra creative, and as far as the track, yes, the track is really dope. That, again, kinda gives me that, butterfly, you know what I mean? It gives me that whole group of people and their production, starting with Bruno Mars, Frankie J, uh, the Selena Quintanilla crew down there in Corpus Christi, you know, that you've got who is that cat that came over to the house, Irene? What's his name? Dante.
Dante Thomas.
Dante Thomas. Like, you know, you've got those kinda that feel, that yeah, man. It kinda has that I don't know what you would call that. It's kind of like a California, Texas thing. I don't know. It's like this really weird mold, but what makes it what it is the fact that the guitars are acoustic guitars, and I don't know, it's just a really, really positive tune, so I really, really dig it. Alright, let's go to the next one.
No, I want to comment on the
Okay.
backgrounds on
Oh,
this.
okay, go ahead. Sorry. My bad. My bad, sir.
I love the fact that well, I don't know if you paid attention, but he's using octaves.
Yeah.
They use the octaves, and that's not a lot of people do it. There's only a few uh singers, rappers, especially rappers, they don't usually do it a lot.
Drake does that a lot, though.
Well, and Drake is one of RM's influences from what I know. He uses the octaves, and then he's got a middle part, middle note. Same with Tavolo, in his part, that he uses for harmony. But that's really cool, especially because he's got such a low voice that he can do the octave with ease.
Yeah, well, I mean, they pulled it off, and on top of that, I mean, just the way that it was mixed too. Yet again, it's so it's they did great layering when they did the mixing, especially using their pans and in the different spaces between, you know, unison and then the spaces that are on the outside. I just think it was really, really cool and very, very stereophonic for being such an elemental tune.
All right, we're going to the next one. The next one, apparently, it's by himself. This record has a lot of collaborations, which is really cool.
Yep.
But this one is by himself. It's called
Alright.
Change Part 2.
Let's go.
Things change, people change, everything change. Fuck that week, you fuck all those and foes. That's all I can say to you.
Well, that's deep. Super deep. So there's a couple ways I take that as far as lyrically. One, he's saying a big fuck you to somebody that hurt him. And this is kind of his, I want to say, half smartass and yet angry response to a person like that. Like, all right, I've been here before. I've eaten this shit before, right? This is nothing new, but I hate doing this. And every time that I do it, I break more apart. And he's basically saying to himself and basically to her, yeah, I get it. Everybody changes. Life changes. You change. I change. This is the shape of the world. You know what I mean? It's constantly changing. But I changed too. And I changed to be with you. And now it seems that now all of a sudden you've changed and you've gone along. So it's kind of it's deep. So lyrically, I think that yeah, because at the end he's pretty absolute with that shit. Like that whole message about and when time comes and it's coming for you, you're gonna remember basic. I'm paraphrasing, but it's basically it's your ass. You know, you're not getting out of this. Basically, this is what happens when you hurt someone like me. I loved you, but you did me wrong. So yeah, the change will come for you and an end will come. It's pretty fucking like, woo, he's deep. Now the track. Oh man, what can I say? I love the second verse, man. I love how it just transitions into this 70s groove and then back into, you know, where it was before. In the very beginning too, what I really dig about this beat is the fact that they're using the just just they're really using a slower version of like a tech beat with those doubles like that. The other thing that I really like is that the noise that you hear, what they're emulating is a Roland TB-303. And but it's like they took those sounds and just completely shit them up. Really put like a bit crusher on it, some distortion, and still use the fact that the TB-303 will give you this real it's very liquid sounding, and that's kinda how they used it, you know what I mean? And you can hear the cuts like it was, done on a sampler. Um, innovative, man. Deep, really deep, very cool. Yeah. Alright, what do we
I
got?
I see, this is a he's got I do somebody that's their first language is not English.
Mhm.
They have an integrity writing that it's completely different than US people's
It's certainly in your
writing
face. Yeah.
in English because it's their first language. It it's and I can tell you because that happens to me because English is not my first language. It's kinda like sometimes, for an American or an English person, it may sound weird, but but us non-English speakers understand each other. Is that different integrity that non-English, meaning people that speak English, but it's their second language, get that.
Yeah,
We get each other.
I I think too because the other thing is that when you have learned English, however you learn English, there is no real deep dive into idioms. You know what I mean? And
Right.
especially Americans, we are so idiom driven. You know what I mean? For those of you who don't know what idioms are, I'll give you an example of an idiom. So let's say that I have a conflict with somebody and I say something to them. Now, this is a deep idiom, but you'll understand it. I say something to them, I say it to them, and it hurts them to the point that it like, oh my God. Like it ends the argument, right? So you would say, I I blew that guy back, or I knocked the wind out of his sails, you know, or I knocked him out. You know what I mean? Like those are idioms. You didn't really knock the wind out of his sails. You didn't really knock this guy out. You didn't end this guy. You didn't kill him. Uh, but you understand what I mean. That is an idiom, and Americans talk a lot in idioms. So I can understand where you're talking like that because you guys just have a different way of saying things and you say it without the idioms. So to hear to hear lyrics coming from a person whose language is not English, but they're doing English. It's very fascinating, and
Yeah, it's
this way he's very,
it's a
very good at
different.
that.
It's just a different, I guess, a different
It's a vibe, man.
vibe, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and it's like the Swedish composers. They have that vibe that's complete. Like it might even be wrong in English, but it sounds great. Like I don't know, Britney Spears, "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time." It's like
Right.
it's in that verge of this doesn't really sound good. I mean,
Well, and that's
it
an
doesn't
idiom.
mean what you right.
Right. That's an idiom. So that's the version of uh uh a non-English speaker who speaks English. That would be their version of trying to be trying to use an idiom like we use, "Hit me, baby, one more time." Well, if you're gonna let's talk about that for a second. Where in America did we say stuff like that? Would have been back in the 40s and the 20s to the 40s, like, "Hit me, baby." You know what I mean? Like, "Ooh, yeah, give it to me. Hit me, baby, one more time." Or it's 70s talk around in Las Vegas around a crap table. "Come on, baby, hit me one more time." You know what I mean? Like, it's a gamble. So for somebody to pick up on that and use it in a song, it's just an American would never use that like that.
Right,
You
right.
know what I mean?
It's a different vibe. It's a different,
But it's
but
genius.
it's genius, yeah, because it
It's
it it
genius.
it works.
Yep. Alright.
Anyways, going to Lonely.
Yep. Okay.
This is by himself again. So let's go.
Let's go.
It's a wasted time, fucking texting, I hasten. I'm fucking lonely.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Wow. So I guess he was really fucking lonely at this time, huh? Jeez. He's literally wearing his heart on his sleeves. I dig the lyric that he has in there. "I'm so fucking lonely. I'm trapped inside the island of fucking loneliness." It's like something to that degree. It was pretty it was cool how I get it. Like, well, somebody just call me. But at the same time, it sounds like he's saying, "All right, I'm lonely at this point in my life because I hate even though I'm going to beautiful places, there's this part of me that just is lonely. And I just want to go back home. And I'll probably be lonely there too, but at least I'll be home." You know what I mean? Like at least I have a spot in where I can be lonely and kind of work things out, sort it out in my mind. So very, very cool. That the track was very easy. You know what I mean? Definitely not a live off the floor type feel, but again, great usage of the acoustic guitar and the last note, although Irene cut it a little bit. It's okay. I heard it. That was a really cool deverb that they put through that guitar because you can really hear and that it's a signature deverb sound. I think it was really, really cool. So very surprising at the end, just a little like engineer kind of nugget, like, oh, okay. They use a deverb. So that must have been done in a really, really big studio setting. All right. What do we got next?
All right. We are going to Hectic with Cold.
Hectic with cold. All right, let's do it.
Pitbull, talking same shit. Hey, yeah.
Wow. So let's start with the production first. I really, really love the use of because it's a very confident move when you take the drum track and the original drum track to the song and then take that stereo composite and pitch it down, you know, uh, that is confidence, right? Now, others would say, no, it was probably just a different sample. It was not. Whoever produced this knew what they were doing and were confident enough to literally mix the song and then go back and do a final edit by doing something like that. I think that is cool. By doing something like that, meaning taking that one point, especially at the end, pitching the drums down and literally changing the entire feel of the track. Very cool, very innovative. Of course, they used the trick of a high pass filter, a high cut filter, and you just kind of left with what sounds like it's on the other side of a door, like a stereo is playing on the other side of a wall, excuse me. So I really, really do love it. The lyrics to me were really deep, and I can tell that there's a lot of inside things in there that I don't know about him and whatever relationship he has with this dude. Um, but lyrically was pretty solid. To be quite honest with you, I there were some things I didn't understand, so I didn't understand what he was kind of getting to,
Because you
except
are not non-English writer.
kind of goes back to what we were just talking about before.
This is
So
the one example because
yeah,
yesterday it says yesterday was a hectic. You would never just say that.
right.
When you
Starting
would
with that,
say yesterday was a hectic day or
right.
yesterday was a hectic one, but
Or
I get
just
it.
yesterday was hectic. End of
Exactly.
story. Not
Or
a
yesterday was
hectic.
uh,
So
hectic.
yeah. And even in that first line, I thought, okay, is he kind of trying to be cool by saying not saying they or using uh? So I think that to me that sounded like a uh something that exactly what you said. You know what I mean? There's just a different take on words.
Because we do our own idioms because we understand each other. Oh, and the other thing that he says is if borning was painful,
Right.
he means if to be born was painful, but
Right.
he makes a verb out of
Right.
to be
Right.
born and makes
And
it
he
borning.
right, and he also makes the word hectic a noun. So it's kind of weird how that what
And nothing is just cool because it works.
it does work in the phonetics of things, sure. But what I think you understand it a little more than I do. You know what I mean when it comes
Right.
to that. So,
Yes.
all right, next track.
All right. We're going to I hang on. For everybody, because you cannot see, Bongos just jumped on the table and is okay, so this is Wildflower. This was actually the first reaction you did to RM, but I'm gonna play the video again, but so I guess just focus a little bit more on the music or
Okay.
because that was over a year ago, so
All right,
you
let's
can
go.
re-react to it.
Sprinkle what? Yeah, I remember this track. I really loved it. I don't remember what I said too much about. I like the lyrics. Let's address that first. The lyrics are great. Um, I understood it as, you know, him having these dreams of fame and having these big promises that were put inside of him. And then for that to happen, there was just this bit of isolation. There's a lot of negative stuff that comes to being a prodigy like himself. So, and the fact that he's saying, you know, regardless, I got to keep walking this road. Nobody likes it. It doesn't matter, you know. So I'm going to be kicking ass, you know. So the whole flower works and like you're just going to watch me blow up. That's what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, if you ever want to find me, you know, in that field is where I'm at, in open space is where I'm at. And in his mind, at least there in those places, you know, no name is who I am. So, you know, and he says it that fame all of a sudden became shackles. Like all of a sudden it was not fun anymore. And so very, very deep. The track is huge. So there's really nothing I can say except it's very typically done to make it big. The engineering, everything was great around it. Her vocals, I think, I don't know if I said this the last time, but hearing this again for the third time, um, I feel like she's yelling. You know what I mean? And I know that it seems like she's at the top of her range in that song, but I seen her do this live and she hit those notes perfectly. Top of that, she's hitting higher notes. You can hear her falsetto, which is way above her full tone, which of course that's the way it's supposed to be, but there just didn't seem to be a lot of dynamics in that screaming type thing, and I love the melody. "Na, na, na, na." I just would have loved to have heard her not be so I mean, like, just really fire, fire. I mean, just screaming at the top of her lungs, and that, to me, is the only thing that I don't like about the song. I love her voice. She has a great voice. Her tone is amazing. I just would have loved to have heard a little more dynamics in that line, in that singing, and all I got was her screaming. And so that's the only bummer of this track. That's just my opinion. I just know that she is an amazing singer and amazing. I saw her live. So I just don't like the performance of her on this song. I just feel like it was just there should have been some oversight there when in the production of it. And screaming like that. And I don't understand what the producers are thinking. All right, next line. Next one.
All right, we're going to the last one. It's called Number Two with Park
Number
Ji
two.
Yoon. Ji Yoon. How else? Hopefully, I'm saying it right.
Number 2. I mean, that means shit. Let's see
For
what
you
number 2
American.
is all but he's like that though. He'll do some stuff like that. Go ahead. That's funny.
그땐 여자는 뒤돌아보지마 하지 않아 켜줄 거야
Very cool. Now, this is an example of live off the floor, but just the music, no vocals. They recorded those vocals after the fact. I really, really like it. I can hear that drummer. I know it's live off the floor because you can hear that the drums were mic'd, but I think it was just one mic over the top, and that was it. You know, may have had another mic somewhere, like maybe some overheads and then just one that go down, but the kick drum wasn't really there. It's just get get. So it's way, way pushed in the back, and that just tells me it was an overhead mic. That's all. So, the piano, the bass, everything, I just really, really love the fact that they were very bold enough to do a live off the floor instrumental and then really, really come in and redo those vocals. But it was the way that it was mixed was just genius. Really, really cool. Another twist on lyrics and everything. I guess what I'm getting out of this song is kind of, I guess, the whole theme, and being that it's the last track on this album kind of makes sense, which is it seems like the theme of the record, which is that it's moving on, basically. It's like becoming more mature. It's shedding the bullshit. It's the finally the final approach to peace. You know what I mean? Like getting your shit together, becoming peaceful, really knowing who you are. And even in the production of this entire record, it has definitely um yeah, this is definitely a very mature sounding record, and even at the way that they recorded it just shows the engineering behind it was very super confident, and it just works, which is just awesome because then the next record he does after this is an engineering's wet dream. Like that, wow, that record So yeah, this was a definitely great segue, great prelude to that. And that's all that I have for it. What can I say, man? RM is the man. And I'm glad that I'm able to discover this music for the first time for myself. And yeah. And I think that my favorite song out of all of them that I've listened to would be the one um before this one, actually. The one that with the girl. Irene, what is that one called?
Wildflower?
What right. Or Flower Works or Wildflower. I do
It's
like
called
I just
Wildflower.
Wildflower. So to me, that is my favorite song on this record. Um, I think it's just more catchier. And although I do not like her vocals on the chorus, others do. And I think that that song, because of those vocals, makes it iconic. It makes it memorable because she has just, regardless if she's screaming or not, I don't like the performance of it, but I love her tone. Her tone is amazing. She just has that longing tone. Like she really, really is good with that tone, and that's it. But I believe that that song is kind of my favorite, and I just really, really love what it's about. I love what he's talking about, and the track, everything was just great. Just a really, really kind of reminds me a little bit of just wanna deep down and see me cry, but that's alright. 'Cause I love the way you lie. That whole Eminem
Yeah,
Rihanna thing, that's kinda that back and
I
forth,
think
that
you said it actually in your first reaction.
oh, did I?
I think so.
Probably, because that's what it reminds me of. It has that kind of, thing to it. I'm not saying it's the same song, I'm saying that it has that same spirit, it has that same vibe, and I dig that. I really love that song, so
My favorite one is Closer with Paul
close.
Blanco and Mahalia.
Yeah, also, the other one with Anderson .Paak was pretty awesome too, man.
Still Life, yeah.
Yeah, Still Life is pretty awesome. I dig that video a lot. I dig I and again, using words and phrases that as Americans we used a while ago, and I think it's cool that he brings up those retro, hard to remember slangs and he uses them. I think that's awesome. Other than that, I think is a great record. What you say, Really B?
Yeah, I think it's a great record. I think it's more commercial than I always get the other one wrong. It's Right People, Wrong Place. Right Place, Wrong Person. I always get them
Right place, wrong
wrong.
person. Isn't that
So
everybody's
I
story
think
at this
this
point?
one is more commercial and maybe more um I say I'm gonna come up with a name. I
More
mean
pop, maybe?
yeah, more mm, e- eatable,
Edible,
edible
edible.
for
Yeah, and I know that you mean that in a positive way because
yeah. No, no. I mean both
right
records
place, wrong
are
people is you gotta
both
have a stomach for that.
yeah, both records are incredible. Just
Right.
this one is more edible for
Yeah,
pop
yeah, the other
or
record is definitely an
commercial.
acquired taste.
Yeah. The other one is wow. I mean, it's great for us musicians is incredible, but it may be less edible for less musician
Like people.
driven people.
Right. Well, I just wanna say happy birthday, RM. This has been an amazing year as we start to close this year down. Man, we are almost in Q4 here. Um, it's gonna be great to see what 2026 what comes of it as far as these guys and putting out new music. They're already ramping up their promotion with McDonald's and, recently Versace too, right? Wasn't it the 2 who just came out with something?
Well,
Was it Jimmy?
no, Jim and
I know I saw something. Some brand had picked one of the boys up, if not 2 of them. But anyways,
Coca-Cola.
I don't know. Yeah, well, yeah, that was V. V got picked up by Coca-Cola, but the others got it was a clothing line. I thought it was Versace or Gucci.
Oh, I can't remember.
Anyways, I and actually thought it was RM or Sugar, like one of those cats. So, well, if you guys know, post in the comments below. Thank you guys for stopping by. And if you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, and put that notification bell on so you know the next time we do one of these album reviews. And listen, if there's any suggestions for records or anything BTS related, or you know what, K-pop related, because we're definitely diving into the entire industry of K-pop, obviously. And yeah, so any suggestions is greatly welcomed and appreciated. And that's it. That's all I got. Irene, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to our Patreons that
Absolutely.
get this
Yes.
full video without the cuts. And
That's
thank you
right.
to all the subscribers for YouTube.
Absolutely. You said
Uh,
it all. You said it all. Thank
yeah.
you very much for hanging out. You guys have a great week. Happy birthday, RM.
Happy birthday.